Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Behind me, 2016 Ford F-150, we're gonna be replacing the front differential fluid. So, let's crawl under. First thing we wanna do is take off our skid plate. In the back, there are two 8mm. And then in the front, we have two 13mm. All right, that should slide backwards. There we go, set that out of the way. And that reveals our front differential. Now there are two different ways we can change this fluid. We can suck out as much as we can from our fill plug if you have a suction tool, or we could take off our front cover. I prefer the front cover, and that's what I'm gonna show you. Before we get too far ahead, let's go ahead and crack our fill plug to make sure we can fill it back up. To give us a little more room, we'll take this little plate off. It's two 13mm bolts. There we go, this whole thing will drop down. Now we want a 3/8 square drive. We'll put that in, make sure it's in all the way. There we go, we'll crack it loose. Oh, that was nice and easy. All right, we don't have to take it all the way out, just so we know we can. Now we can move on. The next thing we need to remove is our plastic catch for our oil filter. If you look right up above, there are two bolts. One right here, 10mm, and the other is right next to it. You can feel them. We'll get those out and their whole plastic tray will come out. It's not really the best angle for you, but 10mm. There's one. There's two. This whole tray will come out just like that. There's one more little shield we want to get off. Let me show you. So this light gray shield has two clips, one here and then one in the back. And then once we get those popped out, we just pull this whole thing out like this. There we go. Let me see if you can see from up here. You see my hand? So this is the differential case, and you can get to those upper bolts from up here. Just so there's less things to bump into, I'm gonna go ahead and take this skid plate off as well. 13mm. There we go. And out of the way. Now we have our cover bolts. They are 13mm. I'm gonna start off with the deep socket. Now I'll go with the shallow socket. You can just use a shallow socket from the beginning if you'd like. Now all the ones we have left are the top that we'll get from the front where we remove those plastic pieces. There should be one, two, about 3 left. For that, I'm just gonna stack my extensions, reach around. There we go, that one's on. All right, that was the last one. So far, so good. Let me get a rubber mallet. We'll hit on this side, break it loose. We'll have our catch pan underneath. I'm just gonna get a little screwdriver and pop in there. There we go. There. There we go. I want to pull this electrical connector off. There's a red tab we want to pull back and then just pinch and that comes off like that. And then this other one, I'm sure we can leave it, but I'm going to take it off too. So same thing, red tab, pull back, pinch. There we go. So those are out of the way. Now our cover will just slide out like that. Perfect. We'll just scrape any of this stuff out best we can. Looking for any metal shards, but so far this looks really good. All right, we'll just wipe this off preliminarily. All right, let's go prep our cover. There's not much to the prep. We're just gonna scrape off as much RTV as possible. Just get it really good. The good news is RTV sticks to itself. So even if you can't get 100% and you just get most of it, that's good enough. What's nice about RTV2 is it squishes out. And if you accidentally scratch your cover, that's okay. The RTV will fill in that scratch. You won't get any leaks. Let's wipe this out really good. Getting an initial wipe. Okay, clean up our mess. Then we'll take our catch pan, some brake clean, and we'll spray it out. Get a really good wash. Perfect. Then we'll wipe that one more time. I want to make sure that our mating surface here where the RTV is going is oil free. Want that RTV to stick really good. Okay, we can re-wipe out the inside. All right, it looks pretty good. Take an air hose if you want to blow it out. Make sure there's no RTV little pieces left, but that looks good enough. So same thing under here, we're gonna scrape off this RTV. Before we do that, I'm gonna take a rag and just hover it over, kind of tuck it in. There we go. That'll just prevent big chunks of RTV going in the differential. We'll just scrape. Once you've scraped what you can, we'll go ahead and wipe. Just get as much off as we can. Take this out. Now we don't want any fluid from inside to drip on our face here. We want it to be nice and oil free. So we're gonna take a rag and just soak up as much of this as we can so it doesn't drip out. Just get it really good. Soak it all up. Gonna use another rag and do the same thing. This is really critical, otherwise you'll get a leak. RTV needs to stick to the surface. So we don't want any oil dripping back out. I think we're safe with that. Now we're gonna take some brake clean, throw it on a rag, and we're gonna wipe this down really good. Just all around. I'm gonna get a fresh, clean rag and just do it one more time. And then one last time. I'm gonna get inside here. I'm gonna get the top of this gear too, because when we put our cover back on, it might scrape it a little. All right, looks good. I was gonna apply RTV on the cover, but because this is such a tight fit, it would just scrape off on our gear. So instead, we're gonna put RTV on our case. For that, we're just gonna go in between each bolt, right around here, and then inside the bolt hole. And then in between, and then inside the bolt hole. And we'll do that all the way around the best we can. All right, we should be able to reach over and get the top part. All right, looks good all the way around. A little messy in a few places, but that is okay. As long as we got full coverage, perfect. Let me go grab the cover and we'll slide it in. Just get the right angle and finesse it. All right, there it is. I'll just put it on, nice and easy. Once we get the first couple of bolts, then it'll be all lined up. Now we'll snug these down until it squishes out. Follow the directions on your RTV bottle. Usually they have you wait about an hour before torquing it. Just till it starts to squish out. All right, I don't have a torque spec on hand, but if I find one before posting this video, I'll throw it on the screen. Otherwise, use your judgment. Take our fill plug out the rest of the way. I'm just using a fluid pump. This end will go in my bottle. We'll put this in right up here. Have a catch pan underneath. We want it to fill up until it starts dribbling out. All right, there's one full bottle. All right, there's two. Now it didn't quite get to the bottom, so I'm gonna pour the first one into the second one. There we go. Now we're getting a stream coming out. Perfect. Now we'll just let that drip out until it's just a nice tiny drip and we know we're full. All right, that should be good enough. We'll put our fill plug back in. Wipe this down. Tighten this up. All right, that's it. Now we can put all our skid plates back on and button it up. Before I forget, we'll plug in our steering rack. There we go. Lock those back up. Perfect. Pull this up. Let me turn you around. Put our metal plate on. Then we'll put this back on. It goes up and over that metal. So I actually could have put that metal plate on second. So that's what I suggest. The last thing are those two plastic pieces that we get from up front. I'll slide this one in first with the clips. All right. And then we got this. Nice, that's it. Take it for a good test drive. Make sure you don't have any leaks. We're good to go. That is how you can place your front differential fluid on your F-150. All in all, not too bad. That front differential cover is a little tight coming out, but it does come out. So just find that right spot, make it come out, and then putting the RTV on the differential case instead of the cover, I think is the better way to go. I'll have links in the description for all the parts and tools used. If you have any questions, comment, post down below. We'll see you on the next one.